Hello shipmates, Lucky Mies over here, and this time we're gonna review Battleship Tirpitz. Now if you have watched my videos in the past few months ago, you have seen my latest video, one of my videos about a whole Bismarck class itself. But I wanted to do solo review each one of them. First I did with the Bismarck, and now our second one is Tirpitz, as you can see. Our beloved Queen of the North, or Lonely Queen of the North if you want to call it. Her history is somewhat sad. Her name comes from Alfred von Tirpitz, and what I failed to mention about the Bismarck section, that Bismarck got her name from Otto von Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor. Tirpitz was laid down 2nd November 1936, and she was launched 1st April 1939, and she was then commissioned 25th February 1941. Now I want to point out Bismarck sunk in 1941, and Tirpitz was only one left from the Bismarck class. Nonetheless, she is Bismarck's sister. So these two share the same design, but after the loss of Bismarck, German Navy High Command did some slight changes to the Tirpitz. Henceforth she got some torpedoes and anti-aircraft improvement. And something like engines were slightly different, giving her a lot more boost to speed. While Bismarck went 30.5 knots, Bismarck went something like 31.3 knots, but I am not sure about that. But the difference with the engines is a game changer with speed. Her displacement in fully loaded was 52,600 long tons, if I pronounce it that correctly. I'm doing my best to keep some things straight. And well, some information does say that despite her different boilers and turbines, she did have same speed like Bismarck, that is 30 knots. As for her main weaponry, it's the same as Bismarck, 50-inch cannons in 4 twin turrets. Now, where should I begin? Actually, there is one YouTube channel who actually did some really good job writing Tirpitz's story, but I'm gonna put it in a nutshell. After the sink of Bismarck in 1941, Tirpitz went some modification changes, which then led to have torpedo increased and anti-air armament torpedo armament added, and then anti-air armament added, as you can see over here. And what else? I'm gonna just copy this one text over here. After completing sea trials in early 1941, Tirpitz briefly served as a centerpiece of the Baltic Fleet, which was intended to prevent possible breakout attempt by the Soviet Baltic Fleet. In early 1942, the ship sailed Norway to act as a deterrent against an Allied invasion. While stationed in Norway, Tirpitz was also Tirpitz was also intended to be used to intercept Allied convoys to the Soviet Union, and 2 such missions were attempted in 1942. This was the only feasible role for her, since the Azur raid had made operations against the Atlantic convoy lanes too risky. Tirpitz acted as fleet in being, forcing the British Royal Navy to retain significant naval forces in the area to contain the battleship. And I have to say, thanks to the fame Bismarck gained in her only voyage, that fame also was transferred to Tirpitz. Now I'm gonna skip some history to the point that we're gonna go straight to the tall boy accident. Where should I start? On 12 November 1944, British Lancaster bombers equipped with 12,000 pound, that's, I'm gonna with kilograms here, 5,400 kilogram tall boy bombs scored 2 direct hits and a near miss, which caused the ship to capsize rapidly. A deck fire spread to the ammunition magazine for one of the main battery turrets, which caused a large explosion. Figures for the number of men killed. Okay, I'm gonna skip how many was lost, but it is a very high amount. They were just chilling in Norway, but because Tirpitz was feared by the Allies had no choice but to get rid of Tirpitz. Of course, Tirpitz anti-aircraft guns did fire the bombers, but because they were so high, they managed to score hits, which then caused Tirpitz to capsize in shallow waters in Norway. Between 1948 and 1957, the wreck was broken up by joint Norwegian and German salvage operation. I have to say, she didn't have much to do, but her presence only. You look, Tirpitz was aura farming, and that aura farming alone really put Royal Navy and the Allies somewhat. What's the good term to be used here? On not edge, but something like uneasy, because Tirpitz was just aura farming in Norway. She may have not accomplished much, but thanks to her presence, it actually did some big problems alone, just existing. And that's how great weapon Tirpitz was, just by existing. And because what her sister did, the Bismarck, that's... I may have repeated myself, but the fame carried from the big sister to the little sister was interesting achievement. Now then, let's not dilly-dally, let's go to the game. Azur Tirpitz. If you ult her and fully level up, you can give her 9078 HP. There is small differences between Bismarck and Tirpitz. As for firepower, 452, anti-air 224, that is Ironblood standard, not very good. And also Bismarck and Tirpitz share some amount of anti-air by the design. So yeah, they are sisters. Her armor is heavy. She can survive a couple of really good hits, but some critical hits from AP can really drain the HP fast. Her luck is 45. She gets torpedoes, which is then connected to her barrage. 232. They go very widespread. Her speed is 30. Her reload is 160. Not bad. Her evasion is also 36 and her accuracy is 73. There are some slight differences between Bismarck and Tirpitz, but I do want to point out is the efficiency of weaponry. Just one difference. Tirpitz's main gun efficiency is 130%. Her secondary gun is 200% and her anti-air gun is 90%. She gets 3 main guns, 2 secondary guns and 1 anti-air gun. And Tirpitz this far has an alchemy module, which then increases firepower 35 points and reload 15 points. And also first strike modification effect. Every battle when TC fires a first volley, increase your main fleet's firepower by 20 for 10 seconds. This skill cannot stack it within itself. Now let's go to the skills and she gets 2 offensive skills. First off, Lonely Queen of the North. As you can see, this is an alchemy module upgraded. But the original does say, if sorted without other battleship or battlecruisers, increases own damage dealt by 30%. Aviation battleships do not count. So that is a really good improvement. But if you have alchemy module, that is Lonely Queen's flag, when there are no non-Ironblood battleship or battlecruisers in your main fleet, increases this ship damage dealt by 30%. I'm gonna butcher with the translation for myself, because English is not my forte. I read when somebody actually explained that to me in English. It's just, you can actually have Ironblood battleships with Tirpitz. She gets damage dealt increased by 30%. This alone is good. And thanks to the magnetic torpedoes, every 15 seconds fires 4 magnetic torpedoes that track the enemy. Torpedo damage is based on the skills level. So 10,000 is it? Or was it 1,000? I don't know. But this is very simple. This very simple. As for her skins, she gets her first one, Snow Melting Summer. Then there is Ironblood's Snowstorm, Seasonal Pine and the Frost Flower, a Vise for the Frost Flower, and her latest and newest, Pit Stop Stand By. And this shows the artist has also changed the Tirpitz chippy design. If you actually go with the first over here. Her chippy design didn't look like this, it was way different. But if you go with these old chibi designs, you can actually see some details of her old design right over here. Ironblood Snowstorm. This was her Rickian's original look. And this is the newest one, you can actually see. Very funny. Now then, if I want to fully utilize something of Tirpitz, well, for now I gave her super heavy shell, increasing firepower 70 points, and now same high standard fire control radar, increasing hit ratio and firepower, and decrease the loading time of the first main gun volley by 15%. And our air is also lacking. So I gave her this one. It has some hit ratio. Increased. It may lack damage, but it has some speed. And the fleet, I'm gonna use Tirpitz. I'm gonna use her with the Graf Zeppelin, Bismarck, Aegir, Leipzig and Regensburg. This is a fleet for now, I'm gonna use Tirpitz. And now I'm gonna see you in a voiceover chapter. Alright, shipmates. Voiceover Lucky Mia's voice over here. Voiceover Lucky Mia's over. Huh? Okay. Tirpitz, Bismarck's sister and the lonely queen of the north. But she's lonely no longer thanks to you if you have her in port and you have outed her. And thanks to the new voice actor of Tirpitz, she actually got some expansion to the voice lines. And I find that very heartwarming that she actually gets some love. Now I'm gonna do some better job here compared to Bismarck. The Tirpitz in combat performance heavily relies on how you build the fleet. Although Tirpitz has this new equipment, augment module, excuse me. When there are no non-Ironblood battleships or battlecruisers in your main fleet, increase this ship's damage dealt by 30%. You can have someone else alongside Tirpitz. And because her magnetic torpedoes has this fan shape launch, I think that it works better in the middle, like a flagship. And then the if you have someone else alongside Tirpitz, then sure, guess that can also compensate. And because she can buff her damage dealt, it's fine. But because how Ironblood fleet operates, there are characters these days that can buff the battleships in the main fleet, and move officers also giving some really good stat bonuses as well to the Ironblood. But I believe Tirpitz is benefiting more when she is sailing with Bismarck. Yes, you will surely lose the aircraft capacity to the one carrier. And some goddamn reason, the Bismarck's way doesn't give Tirpitz much of the damage dealt buff compared to the original Bismarck, which is really weird. But the Reborn Temple of Iron increases the firepower, torpedo and AA of iron battleships in the same fleet as this ship by 15%, and that is from Bismarck's way. Yes, that might be the plus side. The sway is given to Tirpitz, but I would rather keep the original Bismarck because it increases Tirpitz's damage dealt by 40% and add Tirpitz's own damage dealt, that is 30%. Let me do some real quick calculations here. Was it 40 plus 30? 70% damage dealt increased total, if I calculated that correctly. So holy moly, Tirpitz is hitting like a truck. If you have right equipment, of course. In my case, I had in Bismarck the Type 1 AP shell, and with the Bismarck I have super heavy shell. What if I gave Tirpitz the same one as well? If that critical rate actually happens, that's gonna hit. That's gonna hurt. Like, really hurt. Damage dealt. 70% increase damage dealt and increase the crit. I can almost feel the pain on the enemy side. Anyway. Yeah. I don't think I can actually figure anything else about Tirpitz. She performs really well alone, and she performs aggressively well with the Bismarck. And then if you combine really good fleet, if you can build a really good fleet, excuse me, then yes, she is worthy. Where do you get Tirpitz these days? I wonder. She is in Medal Shop these days, so if you have 80 Medal of Honors lying around, and you can see Tirpitz in a Medal Shop, I highly recommend getting her and building a very efficient fleet. And equipment, of course. But it's really weird that Tirpitz has more efficiency on the secondary guns than Bismarck. But we will see in the future if Bismarck ever gets the augment module. And what it does. But now, I guess this is my piece to the Tirpitz. She's a really good character in the right hands, and in a correct fleet she can actually do some really impressive damage. Yes, anti-air is lacking. That I confess. Aeroplot is always lacking in anti-air apartment. Apartment? Excuse, that was wrong word to choose, but anyway. But if you have crash Zeppelin alongside, it can actually decrease damage taken, that's also fine. There was one character in the Iron Claw that also affects something in the main fleet. If I could recall. If you have Brunhilde, Pantheon of War says something like When the battle starts, if there are 3 ships afloat in your main fleet, increase the accuracy of your battleship, battle cruisers and aviation battleships by 10%. So there's a good chance that Tirpitz can actually hit something more accurately with that 10% increase. And was it the Prince Ruprecht also gave something? Lindworm. If not your flagship, decreases the damage taken by the ship above your flagship by 8%. Well, that increases survivability of the if Tirpitz is above the flagship, that's fine. I think Alviter didn't give much to the no, she didn't. I guess. Mecklenburg. If you have Mecklenburg with the with Tirpitz and Bismarck, our limit unbreakable barrier in Mecklenburg, while this ship HP is above 50%, tanks 50% of the damage received by your flagship. Once per battle, when this ship HP falls below 50%, as a result of damage taken, this ship evades all attacks for 3 seconds. So that's a good thing. Also on Mecklenburg's side. So you have choices to the main fleet. I could go with the Vanguard, but I think I'm try to keep this my final opinions as short as possible. She might be old, but she still carries a really impressive potential in her. It only matters what type of fleet you are making. Now, as for the what else did I have in mind? Oh yes! Is Tirpitz meta possible? Well, Bismarck's way. In one point, I don't remember the name of the event, but Bismarck did mention to Commander that Gerion is a meta product. And that technically makes Bismarck's way as a meta ship. Perhaps there will be a Tirpitz meta in the future, but who knows? Who knows? That's in the realm of imaginations. But now I'm gonna end this right here. Thank you so much for watching and listening. What is your opinions about Tirpitz? I hope that she's in good hands. And she's having a very interesting future. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Take care.